There's one stock that I think is a good opportunity right now. It is a recent IPO. It is a crypto company from Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss. Yes, those Winklevi from the social network, from the Facebook Mark Zuckerberg, who had the idea first, fame. Let's jump into the ticker. This is GEMI, Gemini. You might have heard of their crypto exchange. This recent IPO is their future Coinbase. Let's see how realistic that is to call them a Coinbase competitor. And let's look at the chart as well. If you like these ideas, hit that like button.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
Here it is. Gemini Space Station is the company name. So they're calling it a cryptocurrency exchange and digital asset services provider. So like a decentralized DeFi solution. I think they would like that name. They also have a credit card with rewards and a stablecoin. And it was founded by the brothers 10 plus years ago. It's now going public. And this is the chart. Okay, so IPOs are supposed to go up because there's supposed to be more buying interest in the public than in the private. Of course, what they're really supposed to do is just go sideways if they're priced accurately, right? Oftentimes, they go down. We know this. And even if they do go up, sometimes they still go down soon after. Like the Figma IPO is an example of that. CoreWeave is another recent IPO that went up and then has settled a little bit. And then Circle is a similar IPO that did something like that. Now, why am I talking about Gemini? G-E-M-I? Because it looks like the volume is pretty low here. So if people wanted to sell, they could have sold pretty quick. Now, there could be lockup conditions where a lot of these holders from when it was private can't sell until March, which would be 6 months after September when this IPO'd. But until then, the chart seems to be going sideways. There seems to be some compressed days. It kind of is turning up a second time here. So if it can get over this $24 level and stay over it, then that seems like a good level to risk for maybe a move to 28, 30 and beyond. So that's the chart. And if we jump into a little more about what the company does, well, here you go. I don't know exactly how to deal with all of these details as far as investment banks or companies. NASDAQ is a company that is listing this company, Gemini. So instead of worrying about all that, which I could get some of it right, I could get a lot of it wrong because I'm not in these conversations in the right building on Wall Street in the financial district. That is somewhat of an advantage because when you're not in those conversations, like almost all of us and everyone watching, you just look at what actually has happened. So you don't tune into CNBC talking about how this is the Coinbase of the future. You don't tune into the All In podcast, if they're on the All In podcast, where let's say Trump goes on the All In podcast, which is a Silicon Valley podcast, and he starts talking about how Gemini is the next JP Morgan. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. What we do, what I'm talking about here is we see what the buyers and sellers are actually doing here. So far, it looks like yeah, there was some IPO euphoria on day one, whatever. This is not a day trading show. It's been a few days. It did sell off here. It was good to not get into this. These are tight days, but these are also red days. So I'm not a huge fan of getting in after a couple red days. And this thing sold off, and there was a little bottoming, and then another curl down, and then now it looks like we're having another bottoming. So if we just look at the last 10 days, yeah, it's choppy, but it looks like this level is starting to hold. So that's how these decisions are actually getting made by a lot of big traders, not based on what people say about what Gemini is going to become. There are some publicly traded tickers that include Coinbase that are encouraging. So if we look at Coinbase, this is at an important spot. This was listed, let's see. What is this, 21? May of 2021. So it has this peak here in November that it just got over. It sort of tested that peak at the end of last year and then blew through it after all the craziness of this year. And now it's coming back and it just got over that peak again. So the IPO price, the open is 381, which we're really close to right now. And then it gets up towards 430 as far as the high on that first day. So if we can hold over that 481, that's pretty bullish. I don't say that you want to buy Coinbase right now after so many green days in a row. I would like it to go sideways. That would be great. Sort of, near this left side peak here, which is really close to that 381 IPO level. And see, again, that 381 level is important. This was because of earnings, or the reaction occurred on the earnings day. I'm sure it was because of earnings, but the point is that level is important, and if it goes sideways, there's an opportunity to buy it really close to an important level. So this isn't about Coinbase because I'm trying to talk about stocks that are going to go up soon. I don't know exactly I don't know how long Coinbase is going to go sideways for, a week, 2 weeks. Gemini, on the other hand, this one is going to act similar. It's going to be influenced by how Coinbase trades. That's what I'm going to say, on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. So with Coinbase shaping up, that's good for Gemini as well. And IPOs respect technical levels really well because there is not much trading history. There's not much news that's publicly circulated. I mean, there's only been less than a month of history at all of this being a public company. So everyone's looking at this chart is what I'm saying. And that's why there can be some pretty wild momentum. Like CoreWeave, for example, had some pretty wild momentum since its IPO. Of course, that earnings helped as well, but there was sort of an opportunity to get in after that earnings with a pretty tight stop, and you had a lot of moves to the upside. This is not my favorite option. Not my favorite trade plan to get in after an earnings reaction like that, where it's actually a sell-off day. But it does give an example of how you can get in to an IPO and this thing can just trend. And you can use one of these lines like I was talking about earlier. I was talking about how you can sell some of your position when it comes down and hits one of those lines. And look at that. You sell half here, you hold the half that's left, and you just don't sell until it hits that line. Well, that would have been a pretty good spot to sell because it just went down after that. So that's sort of the game plan for Gemini, looking for an opportunity like that. Galaxy Digital is pretty similar as well, and then this crypto platform is helping as well. BKKT has been going crazy. So Galaxy is interesting too. It's just a little more, needs to level off a little bit, but it's getting to be at a pretty important price if it can bounce off this level. That's super interesting as well. So that's the ticker. That's the price levels. Those are some similar stocks, crypto exchange stocks. And if you like these sort of ideas, head over to stockscommunity.com. You can try it out for $25 for 7 days. It is a place to ask me questions. There is a weekly course member live stream. By paying the $25, you are in that. You get access to one of those live streams because it is every week. So give it a shot. You can see recorded live streams as well from the past couple weeks. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to deal with the, keeping all the recordings up or not going forward. But I'm just saying, if you hop in there and you want to watch some instruction, there's a bunch of stuff as soon as you hop in there to watch. All right. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And if you like this sort of content, hit that like button. See you in the next one.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.